Introduction to Personal Development and Soft Skills. Good morning. I want to start with a simple observation. Almost no one fails in life because they didn't know enough facts. People fail, or stall, or quietly settle for less than they were capable of because of something much harder to name. A hesitation before a hard conversation, a belief that they weren't the kind of person who could do this, a habit of shrinking right at the moment they most needed to stand tall. That gap between what we know and what we actually do, between our potential and our daily behavior, is exactly where this series lives. Over the coming talks, we're going to spend real time in that gap because I believe it's one of the most underestimated forces shaping a human life. Here's the uncomfortable truth: your technical knowledge, your degree, your resume, they get you in the room. But what happens after you're in the room is governed almost entirely by a different set of capacities. How you handle disagreement, whether you can hear hard feedback without collapsing or getting defensive, whether you believe deep down that effort will actually pay off, whether you can sit with discomfort long enough to grow instead of retreating from it. We call these soft skills, and the name itself is part of the problem. There is nothing soft about them. They are, in practical terms, the hardest skills most people ever have to build, precisely because they can't be memorized from a textbook. They have to be practiced, often uncomfortably, in real relationships and real moments of pressure. And they are not a luxury reserved for leadership, seminars, or corporate retreats. They show up everywhere: in the conversation you have with your partner after a long day, in the way you recover from a mistake at work, in whether you can ask for help without shame, and whether your child sees you handle stress with steadiness or with panic. Personal development isn't a side project you get to eventually. It's already running in the background of every single day you live. So here is what we are going to do together. Over the course of this series, we are going to trace where your modern understanding of personal growth and interpersonal skill actually came from, not as trivia, but because knowing the origin of an idea often tells you exactly how far to trust it and exactly how to apply it wisely. We'll meet the thinkers who first tried to turn being good with people into a teachable skill. We'll sit with the psychologists who mapped what human beings actually need in order to thrive, not just survive. We'll explore where genuine belief in yourself comes from and how it's built deliberately, one small success at a time. And we'll keep going all the way into the science of resilience, motivation, focus, and the quiet daily habits that end up defining a life far more than any single dramatic decision ever does. My goal is working through this history with you is not to hand you a list of theories to memorize. It's to put a spotlight deliberately and repeatedly on something most of us already sense but rarely examine dialectically, that how we relate to ourselves and to other people is not a minor detail sitting alongside your life skills and achievements. It is very often the deciding factor underneath them. Each talk in this series will take one major idea or one influential figure and walk through it fully. Where the idea came from, what problem it was trying to solve, how it connects to the deeper science of psychology and sociology behind it, where it falls short, and most importantly, why it still matters for how you live today. Some of these ideas will feel immediately practical, others will feel more like a shift in perspective, a new lens to notice your own patterns through. Both are valuable. Understanding why you hesitate before a hard conversation is just as useful in the long run as learning a specific technique for having one. So consider this talk an invitation not to become a different person, but to become a more deliberate one, someone who understands the forces shaping their own confidence, their own relationships, their own daily well being well enough to actually work with them instead of being quietly run by them. Because in the end, this is what personal development and soft skills really are. Not soft at all, just deeply, stubbornly human, and worth understanding properly one idea at a time. Let's begin.